With the school year beginning, you might have seen many national headlines about teacher shortages facing public schools. In particular, members of Congress, teachers' unions, media outlets, and government officials have been the driving force behind this specific argument. The claim is that along with the wake of COVID-19, schools have been struggling to find teachers to fill the vacant spots left behind in different schools. Essentially, teachers have given up on the profession, whether that's due to a lack of financial stability or workplace stress. Teachers are some of the most important members of society. We depend on them to teach the leaders of tomorrow and the next generation. So when there's news of a crisis-level teacher shortage, people rightfully get worried. But is this claim sustainable, and is it justified? While school districts have had trouble filling their positions, it's not necessarily because of a lack of teachers, rather an increase in positions. Let me explain. In 1950 to 2015, the number of teachers increased 2.5% as much as the uptick in students. This essentially means that the number of teachers have actually been increasing drastically compared to the amount of students. So what we've ended up with is rather a teacher surplus. Even with the amount of spare positions, it most likely means that these positions have been created by schools that cannot be filled via the use of spare pandemic money. Especially given that the recent amount of job openings have gone up in recent years, but with people struggling to find job slots. Mind you, this doesn't necessarily mean that the number of teachers have gone down, but rather that the number of jobs in schools have gone down. So that includes special educational roles and duties, such as being a janitor, being a bus driver, or being a counselor, a principal, anything like that. With the COVID-19 pandemic, the US saw its largest decrease yet in US school employment, dropping from a high of almost 8.1 million to 7.3 million in the middle of the pandemic to 7.7 million today. It's unknown whether that means there's a lack of teachers, or rather a lack of other educational roles. Quit rates have been high among jobs in general, so that doesn't necessarily mean that teachers have been quitting in droves. There's an international test comparing students across different countries. It's called the PISA, and it's administered by the OECD. Where do you think the US lies on this list? Well, in reading, we're in 13th, science 19th, and math 38th. The OECD also collects data on the amount spent per student. The US, by far, spends the most among every other country, spending $12,800 per student, which ranks second. There's a clear disparity here. How can we spend around double what a country like Lithuania spends and still have worse test results than them on math? The fact is, the US education system is broken. A major aspect of this is teachers. In other countries like Slovakia, a senior teacher can be expected to pay $22K. The Slovakian GDP per capita is around $21K. In the US, a senior teacher can be expected to earn around $67,000. The American GDP per capita is $69K. So in countries that do better than us, teachers are paid more. Next, we can look at the ratio of teachers to students. In countries like Singapore and Japan, which are seen as having model educational systems, there's way more students per teacher. To teach our students, we don't need more teachers, rather we need better teachers. From all of this, the solution to our problem is clear. The US educational system should stop hiring so many teachers. Using that extra money, it should hire better teachers and pay them back with more money so they'll stay. Also, an important factor of this is to cut down on the non-teaching staff, which has drained up all our funding. If you like this video, you might also like more content from us. Check out Dome TV, where we post all of our podcasts. As always, peace.